Hello and welcome to the new interview series of the Martin Center called Represented. We are here in the European Parliament in Strasbourg, where we came to sit down with pairs of MEPs, one of which is a veteran in the European Parliament and one of which is a new one, and to try to discuss and see how the new Parliament's dynamics will look like. I am very happy to have here with me two ladies, two MEPs, one new one and one veteran. First of all, thank you for making the time to participate in the interview.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Exactly. Thank you for inviting us.
And as we have our old interview series named I Say Europe, You Say, my first question to you will be, when I say Europe, what do you say? And how do you say Europe in your own languages? We can start here.
Europe in Polish is Europa. And I would say Europa is my today, my future, and my full involvement.
And in Portuguese we say Europa, and I believe that Europe is a project for generations. That's how we refer to it usually.
And you as a newcomer and you as a veteran, what pieces of advice could you offer to each other or to new and old MEPs for this new legislative period?
Well, if I may say, I think the new MEPs, we need kind of a mentor from the old MEPs, because everything is so big and it's so hectic in the first weeks that it would be great to have a mentorship program once we arrive in the parliament. So I don't know, in the next 5 years maybe we can develop further this idea, but here it is.
I will be most happy to be your mentor. It's good we met. Let me become your mentor now.
Absolutely.
Concentrate on a few issues where you really want to achieve results. Otherwise, you get completely lost, and there is never enough of time. Concentration, focusing is the word, I would say.
Building up on this, what was the biggest issue you focused on in your campaign to get re-elected?
I tried to be very concrete and explain to people what's the influence of our doings on their everyday life. But I am Polish, so I also spoke a lot about the rule of law and our common values and our European legislation, and really especially about tripartition of powers and why it's so important, and about the rule of law.
We will get to that in a bit. Lídia, earlier this year you spoke on a conference on gender equality organized by a Committee of Regions called Europe for Her. What advice would you have for young ladies out there, such as yourself, who would like to jump into politics themselves?
Women and young women, and also men and young men, we always have to be determined on what we want to pursue for our lives. So the advice I can give is to stick to your objectives and find your own way to achieve them. And we know it's not an easy path. Sometimes the message doesn't go across. So we always have the opportunity to develop further. And if it doesn't work the first time, it will probably work in the second, the third, until we are finally successful.
Young people in countries such as Germany, the Netherlands, Ireland have voted quite a lot the Green parties, and we have seen a shift towards climate emergency becoming one of the most important issues. What can the EPP do over the next mandate to try to help to combat this?
Well, yeah, it's indeed true that the EPP is not traditionally a Green party. EPP values the generations and the sustainability of the generations, and so here I think we can do much more. We have the youth. We have the youth of EPP, and I'm also the president of the youth of EPP. We've been discussing the environment long enough. We have a declaration of presidents from April this year where we state our vision for climate based in 3 pillars: economy, education, development. So I think we have here a great opportunity to show the world that, to show to Europe that climate is not only a leftist topic. This is a societal issue, and both left and right have to be embraced in this topic.
I went online to Google you a bit, Instagram, Facebook, everything, and I found these 2 photos that I would like you to explain. So
What do you have?
Start with you. Could you please tell us what is this photo about?
This, in fact, this was one of my assistants together with me, and here we protest against racism on the stadiums. There was an awfully embarrassing and sad incident on one of the stadiums, I think then in Europe somewhere, where an African football player was, people threw bananas at him. And we found it so horribly embarrassing that we organized a whole action of eating publicly bananas, you know.
And then Lídia, this is the photo we took, I think, from your Instagram.
Yeah.
I believe it was part of the campaign, but
It was during the campaign. I was in the campaign van, or my campaign van. It was called Celeste, was the name of the campaign, which is Portuguese, it's some sort of common name. This picture represents enthusiasm, motivation during the campaign for the 5 years that I have ahead of me, and we have ahead of us.
Quick question, which Portuguese would make a better MEP? José Mourinho or Cristiano Ronaldo?
José Mourinho.
Why?
He's the strategic mind for everything in football. So,
what, in your view, are thoughts on the current media landscape and political debates back in your home country, Poland, at this moment?
That's a very serious question, really. We are in a very difficult situation for the time being ruled by a party that is called Law and Justice, and it doesn't respect the law and it destroys the justice system. And also it treats the so-called, we say, public media, because they're not public anymore in my country, as a propaganda tube for their own policy, if we may call it policy.
Coming back to a bit brighter topic of one of the, I would say, biggest success project of the European Union, Erasmus. You yourself have been one of the users of the program back in Prague when you did your Erasmus. What is next for Erasmus? How to get more young people involved, and especially the ones who are not attending a university or not pursuing a degree?
So I think I'm going to start by your last question concerning Erasmus for people that are not attending, for youngsters that are not attending university. It's possible using potentially high schools, for example, when we are pursuing high school studies or vocational training. And Erasmus already has some guidelines on that. Earlier today, the commitment from the candidates for the Commission to support the Parliament's proposal for the increase of the Erasmus program. So we should there's still certain things that have to be fixed because you have a lot of students from the Western Europe that do not go or go to very particular places. In Europe, and they don't go beyond because of the financial constraints. And then you also have the logistical constraints from universities in the exchange program. So I would outline these two as the main factors or the main items for this.
I often think that that we forget how extremely important this exchange is. Exactly, the civilization makes progress where people of different opinions, different education, etc. meet. Yeah. And if we want to achieve progress in Europe, we really must do it together. And the earlier we start, the better. Erasmus is a fantastic chance for that. And I do believe that in our, not only in our budget, in the whole logistics of Erasmus, which is developed, which has changed to Erasmus Plus, which is very positive that this is now an Erasmus Plus.
But the average of students, European students going on Erasmus, I think it's like 3.7
Still too little, exactly.
It's too little, and in Portugal,
so when we start ruling Europe, 2%. When we start, both of us, when we start ruling Europe, we will put much more money and possibilities for Erasmus, or maybe one should make it mandatory that every student spends a certain time,
semester.
In at least one semester.
Yeah, exactly. For that, we need to create the conditions on both sides of the equation. Both the hosting university and the sending university.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Just a set of quick questions and we can slowly wrap it up. So I start with Róża. Russian blini with Vladimir Putin or McDonald's with Donald Trump?
Neither nor.
Czech or Belgian beer?
Both.
Next one, you have to pick one.
No, but why do you want me to have?
I like both. Life is about tough choices sometimes.
Why do you want? No, I don't have to sit neither with Putin nor with Trump. I will send my collaborator.
It would be interesting. It would be interesting.
Okay, that's a good approach. At least you send the collaborator.
Don't feel like
Okay, we go for an easier one. Polish kielbasa or German bratwurst?
I'm a vegetarian.
Okay. Bolinho de bacalhau or pastel de nata?
Bolinho bacalhau.
So the last set is to ask you questions, which one of you is more likely to do something, and I will have 3 quick questions, and you will have to show one of the papers in front of you. So to vote either for yourself, that you are more likely to, or that the other person is more likely to. My first question will be, who is more likely to have a better coffee in their office?
I agree with you. Since
Why?
my daughter is a barista, so I must say that I make good coffee. Otherwise, I'm not a good mother.
And I don't have a coffee machine, so.
So I invite you to come
right,
to my office.
We will go for a coffee.
Nice. Who is more likely to have more amendments on a policy proposal?
Oh, she will.
I love how you're in accordance.
I haven't tried yet, but
That's
this is my commitment.
That's why you will put so many amendments.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us in our new series of Represented, and good luck with the next 5 years to come.
Thank
you very much for inviting.
Good luck.
And we go for coffee.
Yes.